morning, muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Carolina Ortiz. My name is Carolina Ortiz, Associate Director at COPAL, Communities Organizing Latino Power in Action. Thank you for everybody that joined us today for this press conference for justice in immigration, labor, and temporary protected status for Ecuador. We're gathered here amidst a national moment of escalated fear-mongering surrounding immigration. Ecuadorian communities are grappling with challenges ranging from economic instability to political unrest and natural disasters. These crises have forced many to seek refuge and opportunities elsewhere, highlighting the critical need for temporary protected status. We are here today advocating for pro-TPS resolutions across the state, beginning with St. Paul and Minneapolis. These resolutions are not just pieces of paper. They represent tangible next steps towards providing relief and protection to Ecuadorian immigrants who call Minnesota home. As we stand here on May Day, we are reminded of the symbolism of this day, a day dedicated to workers' rights and justice. Our efforts today honor the spirit of Our efforts today honor the spirit of May Day as we strive to create a more just and equitable society for all. We are here because action is being taken. We are representing an alternative narrative on immigration, one rooted in dignity and the right of dignified labor. We believe that immigrants, regardless of their status, deserve respect and opportunity. I am honored to be sharing this space with community leaders who are working to make a difference in lives of Ecuadorian immigrants and all of those who seek refuge and opportunity in our communities. Now I pass it over to Xiomara Marin to share her perspective on why immigration reform and a system transformation is needed.
Buen día, mi nombre es Xiomara Marín, nací en Colombia hace 33 años y hace año y medio crucé la frontera de este país cargada de esperanzas, pensando en las oportunidades que tendríamos mi familia y yo aquí. No ha sido fácil iniciar nuestra nueva vida, pero agradezco el poder estar acá.
Good morning. My name is Xiomara Marin. I was born in Colombia 33 years ago, and a year and a half ago, I crossed the border to this country, full of hope, thinking of the opportunities that my family and I would have here. It has not been easy to start our new life, but I am grateful to be here.
Los colombianos que llevan más tiempo aquí comentan que nunca habían visto tanta gente de nuestro país llegando a las Twin Cities, y esto lo vemos por todo el país. Estamos llegando a muchos estados, y esto tiene muchas razones. Para empezar, Colombia es uno de los países más desiguales del mundo, con unas cuantas familias siendo las dueñas de la gran mayoría de las tierras y los recursos, que en nuestro país son muchos. Colombia es el segundo país con mayor biodiversidad del mundo, pero en Colombia la distancia económica entre ricos y pobres es muy grande. También hemos tenido un conflicto armado de muchísimas décadas, y aunque en el 2016 logramos un acuerdo de paz que ha generado optimismo, este sigue enfrentando enormes desafíos en su implementación.
Colombians who have been here for longer comment that they have never seen so many from our country arriving to the Twin Cities. And we are seeing this all over the country. Many of us are arriving to the States. And there are many reasons for this. To start, Colombia is one of the most unequal countries in the world, with a few families owning the vast majority of the land and resources, which in our country are many. Colombia is the second most biodiverse country in the world, but in Colombia, the economic gap between rich and poor is very large. We have also had an armed conflict for many decades. And although in 2016 we reached a peace agreement that has generated optimism, it still faces enormous challenges in its implementation.
Sumado a lo anterior, la llegada de la pandemia solo profundizó nuestras dificultades como país, y por eso somos tantos los que estamos arriesgándonos a iniciar una nueva vida aquí. La gran mayoría jóvenes como yo, que no tenemos oportunidades en nuestro país.
In addition to the above, the arrival of the pandemic only deepened our difficulties as a country, and that is why so many of us are taking the risk of starting a new life here. The vast majority of us are young people like me who have no opportunities in our country.
Las situaciones de las que venimos son complicadas, y las que enfrentamos al llegar aquí también. En mi caso soy madre soltera de 2 hijos, uno que vino conmigo y que solo tiene 5 años, y el que soy su único soporte y apoyo. Mi otro hijo se quedó en Colombia, tiene 12 años, y sueño con poder tenerlo junto a mí muy pronto. En mi situación, el temor a ser separada de mi hijo aquí y enfrentar un proceso de deportación es una angustia constante. Por eso estoy aquí
porque quiero dejarles saber que somos muchas las familias colombianas en mi situación y que tener acceso al DD o protección contra una deportación me daría la tranquilidad de irme a trabajar y saber que no voy a enfrentar el riesgo de una salida forzosa, lo que sería un enorme alivio.
The situations we come from are complicated, and so are the situations that we face when we get here. In my case, I am a single mother of 2 children, one who came with me and is only 5 years old, and I am his only support. My other son stayed in Colombia. He is 12 years old, and I dream of having him with me very soon. In my situation, the fear of being separated from my son here and facing a deportation process is a constant anguish. That is why I'm here today, because I want to let you know that there are many Colombian families in my situation, and that having access to DED or protection from deportation would give me the peace of mind to go to work and know that I will not face the risk of forced deportation, which would be a huge relief.
Este beneficio migratorio es una decisión única y exclusiva del presidente de los Estados Unidos. Las personas protegidas por el DED no están sujetas a remoción de los Estados Unidos por un periodo de tiempo determinado. Estas personas también podrían solicitar autorización de trabajo.
This immigration benefit is the sole and exclusive decision of the President of the United States. DED protected persons are not subject to removal from the United States for a specific period of time. These individuals may also apply for a work authorization.
Para terminar, agradecemos a Copal por brindarnos este espacio para dar a conocer nuestra realidad como colombianos en este país. Esperamos seguir trabajando fuerte para lograr que el DED sea una realidad para nuestra comunidad colombiana en Estados Unidos. Muchas gracias.
Finally, we would like to thank Copal for giving us the space to make known our reality as Colombians in this country. We hope to continue working hard to make DED a reality for our Colombian community in the United States. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elvis Rivera. I stand before you today as a proud first-generation immigrant from Guatemala, a country that endured a 36-year-long civil war from 1916 to 1996, leaving immeasurable pain and suffering in its wake. I was born in Guatemala in 1986 amidst the turmoil of conflict and the war, as the war entered its 26th year. In late 1995, my family and I fled seeking safety and opportunity, embarking on a journey to the United States filled with uncertainty and challenges, to say the least. Like many immigrants, our path was marked with hardships. We faced language barriers, discrimination, and constant fear of deportation. As a matter of fact, I vividly remember walking down Lake Street, the very street that we sit on right now today. When we first arrived in 1996, at the time we had no place to live. My mother was unemployed. My sister and I weren't enrolled in school. Everything felt scary and everything was unfamiliar. Navigating this new reality was daunting, but through perseverance, determination, and the support of our community, we forged a new life in the state. However, it wasn't easy. Our journey was riddled with struggles, especially regarding our legal status and everything that came along with it. Yet, our story is just one amongst millions. Countless families are still torn apart by an immigration system that fails to recognize their humanity. Children are separated from their parents, asylum seekers are turned away at the border, and undocumented individuals live in constant fear of deportation. This is why I believe immigration reform is not just a policy issue, it's a moral imperative. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering of our fellow human beings. We must demand a system that upholds the dignity and the rights of all immigrants, regardless of their backgrounds or status. Comprehensive immigration reform is not just about changing laws, it's about transforming systems. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of where they come from or how they got here. Immigration reform is imperative to address the multifaceted challenges, including poverty, political instability, corruption, and violence, which drive individuals to seek better opportunities abroad. To tackle these root causes, reform should prioritize policies promoting economic development and strengthening governance and improving security. Additionally, addressing humanitarian concerns is crucial as many migrate due to natural disasters and violence. Reform should prioritize protecting vulnerable populations, providing avenues for asylum seekers and refugees, and facilitating family reunification to uphold the principles of compassion and solidarity. Immigration reform can unlock economic opportunities by creating legal pathways for work that contribute to the country's economy. It must prioritize human rights, combating exploitation and discrimination, and ensuring the fair treatment under the laws for all migrants. Bilateral cooperation is also essential. Such collaboration should focus on promoting development, improving border security, combating trafficking, and facilitating legal migration pathways, fostering a more just and humane immigration system. So I urge, as a Latino immigrant from Guatemala, everyone to stand up for justice, stand up for compassion, and stand up for the rights of immigrants everywhere. Thank you.
Muy buenos días a todos. Me llamo Julio Alvarado. Estoy aquí con el compañero Héctor. Soy ecuatoriano y miembro del colectivo ecuatoriano Pro TPS de Copal. A nombre de mi comunidad quiero agradecer a los concejales Jason Chávez de la ciudad de Minneapolis, el ward número 9, y a Hwayon Kim, ciudad de San Pablo, el ward número 5, por introducir en cada ciudad una resolución de TPS para los ecuatorianos. Invitamos a todos nuestros representantes políticos a que se pronuncien a favor de un TPS para Ecuador.
Good morning. My name is Julio Alvarado, and I'm here with Hector. I'm an Ecuadorian, and I'm a member of Copal's Ecuadorian Pro TPS collective. On behalf of my community, I would like to thank council members Jason Chavez, City of Minneapolis, Ward 9, and Hwajon Kim, City of St. Paul, Ward 5, for introducing in each city a TPS resolution for Ecuadorians. We invite all political presenters to speak out in favor of TPS for Ecuadorians.
En los últimos meses, el mundo entero ha sido testigo de la ola de crimen que azota a todo el Ecuador. Los actos criminales liderados por cárteles de drogas, más el crimen organizado y la inestabilidad política generada por el mismo gobierno, se han convertido en el pan de cada día en todo el país.
In recent months, the whole world has witnessed the crime wave sweeping across Ecuador. Criminal acts led by drug cartels, plus organized crime and political instability generated by the government itself has become bread of every day for the country.
Estos problemas sociales y políticos han obligado a miles de ecuatorianos a buscar refugio en todas partes del mundo, incluyendo Minnesota.
These social and political problems have forced thousands of Ecuadorians to seek refuge in all parts of the world, including Minnesota.
Cada historia que se escucha rompe el corazón, pero al llegar aquí en Minnesota, nuestra comunidad se enfrenta a otra triste realidad, la necesidad de documentos que les permita trabajar para el sustento de ellos y de sus seres queridos. Al no tener documentos, también enfrentan el peligro de ser deportados, regresándoles nuevamente a la ola de crimen del cual huyeron en un primer momento.
Every story you hear breaks the heart, but upon arriving here in Minnesota, our community faces another sad reality, the need for documents that allow them to work to support themselves and their loved ones. By not obtaining documents, they also face the danger of being deported, returning them back to the crime wave from which they fled in the first place.
Es difícil saber cuándo nuestro país, Ecuador, logrará una estabilidad política y social. Por ello, consideramos necesario la designación de TPS para Ecuador de forma inmediata. Una designación de TPS es un acto humanitario para nuestra comunidad ecuatoriana, pero también es una oportunidad económica de impacto positivo para Minnesota y el resto de la nación.
It is difficult to know when our country, Ecuador, will achieve political and social stability, which is why we consider it necessary to designate TPS for Ecuador immediately. A TPS designation is a humanitarian act for our Ecuadorian community, but it is also a positive economic opportunity for Minnesota and the rest of the nation.
Presidente Biden, otorgue designación de TPS para nuestra comunidad ecuatoriana. Se lo pedimos encarecidamente. Muchas gracias.
President Biden, grant TPS designation for our Ecuadorian community. We ask. Thank you.
Brevemente, mi compañero va a dirigir también, Héctor.
Buenos días a todos.
Good morning, everyone.
Bueno, para mí es un placer, es un gusto estar acá en esta reunión. Aprecio muchísimo la presencia de cada uno de ustedes. Como ecuatoriano que soy, vivo acá 25 años. Es bastante de mi vida en donde he sentido ningún tipo de discriminación por el simple hecho, me voy a permitir sacar un documento, que es mi licencia de conducir. Fue mi primera opción de comenzar a compartir las responsabilidades y obligaciones de vivir de una manera ordenada en esta comunidad y en esta grandiosa ciudad. Así que, I'm sorry.
I am grateful to be here, sharing the space. I've been here for 25 years, and in my whole time being here, it's been a long time. I have not faced discrimination, but I present this driver's license that for me has been a big responsibility.
Aprecio muchísimo la oportunidad para poder transmitir a las autoridades que nos honran en esta charla. Ojalá se pueda llegar al más alto nivel de que como ecuatoriano que soy, como comunidad ecuatoriana, queremos sentir una responsabilidad en serio de hacer ciertas transformaciones en nuestras vidas y poder ser parte de aportar a la comunidad, aportar a la ciudad, contribuir en un mejor estado, que es este gran país llamado Estados Unidos. Sí, perdón.
I am thankful for all the authorities that are here and are helping us out. I am hoping that for me, our community, me as an Ecuadorian and my community as Ecuadorian, that there is something that can be resolved for our community and so that we can continue to provide support and help our country.
Muchísimas gracias por la oportunidad, queridos representantes. Espero que este mensaje sencillo, humilde, pero poderoso sea posible para que nuestra comunidad hispanoparlante, especialmente mi comunidad ecuatoriana, podamos ser mejores individuos, mejores un colectivo social y de esa manera poder contribuir con herramientas que nos permitan, como el TPS, como herramientas como tener un IT number para pagar y contribuir impuestos a la ciudad, al gobierno. De esa manera estar plenamente conectados en el agradecimiento de esta querida ciudad. Muchas gracias.
Thank you to all the representatives that are here. We'd like to thank you for all the work that you've done, and we hope that something can be resolved so that me as an Ecuadorian and part of my community can continue to provide for this community and to provide for not just us, but the nation as well.
Gracias.
Hello, everyone, and happy International Workers' Day on May 1st. My name is Brad Siegel. I'm a member of the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee, MIRAC. And we want to thank first our friends from COPAL for inviting MIRAC to be here today with you. We work together, along with many others, to win driver's licenses for all in Minnesota, and we look forward to continuing to work together to win TPS for our Ecuadorian friends, families, and coworkers. Over the past few years, we've seen many new people come to Minnesota from Ecuador. We've seen this from other countries before, as people are forced by circumstances beyond their control to abandon their homes and travel hundreds or even thousands of miles, crossing many borders to arrive here. Then people arrive here and face extreme difficulties often, as well as discrimination and hostility from politicians all too eager to blame immigrants for problems they did not cause. Why are people coming here from Ecuador? Every person that comes has their own story, of course, but we can say that political and economic instability, often caused directly by US foreign policy, is a key reason that many people flee their countries. When the policies of our government force people to flee their homes and seek refuge here, we believe we should welcome them with open arms. Given the situation in Ecuador, we believe that President Biden must establish temporary protective status for Ecuadorians. It's the right thing to do so that people can have at least a semblance of stability in their lives. And we know TPS doesn't provide permanent protection, only Congress can do that. But given the political polarization nationally, that seems extremely unlikely in the near future. So we join with COPAL in calling on the Biden administration to establish TPS for Ecuadorians, and we call on Minnesota's elected officials to publicly advocate for this as well. Thank you.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Gabriela Gutiérrez y yo soy originaria de Zacatecas, México.
Good morning. My name is Gabriela Gutierrez, and I'm originally from Zacatecas, Mexico.
Mis distinguidos oyentes, Hablo en nombre de muchos, no solo de los mexicanos, sino de los migrantes de toda América Latina que comprenden el significado de la lucha, la perseverancia y el sacrificio. Nos encontramos aquí por elección frívola, sino por la búsqueda desesperada de un futuro más seguro y próspero para nosotros y nuestras familias.
I speak on behalf of many, not just Mexicans, but migrants throughout Latin America, who understand the significance of struggle, perseverance, and sacrifice. We are not here by frivolous choice, but by the desperate search for a more secure and prosperous future for ourselves and our families.
Hoy dirijo mis palabras hacia una causa que nos toca profundamente, que resuena en los latidos de nuestros corazones como una melodía de solidaridad y justicia, el TPS para Ecuador. El estatus de protección temporal es más que una política, es una tabla de salvación para aquellos que enfrenten condiciones adversas y peligrosas en sus países de origen.
Today, I direct my words towards a cause that touches us profoundly, that resonates in our heartbeats like a melody of solidarity and justice. TPS for Ecuador, temporary protected status, is more than a policy. It is a lifeline for those who have faced adverse and dangerous conditions in their countries of origin.
Como emigrantes, entendemos el peso de la incertidumbre, la angustia de no saber si el mañana traerá alivio o desesperación. Por eso hoy levantamos nuestra voz en solidaridad de nuestros hermanos y hermanas ecuatorianos para pedir que se les otorgue el estatus de protección temporal en Estados Unidos.
As an immigrant, we understand the weight of uncertainty, the anguish of not knowing if tomorrow will bring relief or despair. That is why today we raise our voice in solidarity with our Ecuadorian brothers and sisters to ask that they be granted temporary protected status in the United States.
También tomo este momento para recordarles que debemos de seguir luchando por una reforma migratoria. Millones de migrantes seguimos viviendo bajo las sombras por ser indocumentados. Millones que día a día contribuimos a la sociedad y a la economía, pero nuestras contribuciones no son reconocidas.
I also take this moment to remind you that we must continue to fight for immigration reform. Millions of immigrants continue to live in the shadows because we are undocumented. Millions of us contribute to society and the economic on a daily basis, but our contributions are not recognized.
La solidaridad es la fuerza de los pueblos, es un compromiso por el bien común, porque todos somos responsables de todos y así todas las cosas buenas nacen de una actitud de aprecio por los demás. Donde existe unidad, siempre existe victoria.
Solidarity is the strength of the people. It is a commitment to the common good because we are all responsible for each other and all good things are born of an attitude of appreciation for others. Where there is unity, there is always victory.
En conclusión, insisto a las autoridades competentes a que actúen con celeridad y compromiso, a que concedan el TPS para Ecuador. Y asimismo invito a nuestra comunidad inmigrantes a seguir empujando por una reforma migratoria integral para lograr una vida próspera y digna. Gracias.
In conclusion, I urge the appropriate authorities to act promptly and compassionately to grant TPS for Ecuador, and I invite our immigrant communities to continue pushing for comprehensive immigration reform in order to achieve a prosperous and dignity life. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and happy International Workers' Day. My name is Abdi Hamid Badri, and I'm joining you all from the Ward 5 office, St. Paul City Council. Council Vice President Hwajang Kim couldn't be here today as she's out of state, but wanted to make sure that we were able to join you all and be in community here today. This issue is of, it's of personal importance to me as an immigrant myself. My family moved here in 2006, seeking a better life. And the truth about migration is that it's a very difficult and often traumatic process for people involved. And we know that once people get here, that life doesn't stop. They still need to be able to feed themselves and their families, be able to, get work and find stable housing. And that's difficult to do with the threat of deportation looming over your head. That's difficult to do when you don't have the protections and the worker protections that, everybody else here has, And so that's why we're here, supporting the TPS for Ecuador campaign. And in St. Paul, what we're specifically doing is that a week from today, on May 8th, the St. Paul City Council will be taking up a resolution urging the Department of Homeland Security to grant Ecuador TPS. That's sponsored by Council Vice President Kim. We'll also be calling for our federal delegation to support and also, use their influence to pass the TPS for Ecuador Act of 2024. Again, I'm just so happy to be here and to join COPAL and to join the community here today. It's time to step up for Ecuadorians. It's time to step up for our migrant communities and grant TPS for Ecuador now. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Jason Chavez, Ward 9 City Council member, representing part of the South Side here in Minneapolis. Proud to be here. I want to begin by thanking COPAL for hosting this press conference, bringing the attention a very important topic to our Latino community here in Minneapolis and across the country. As the son of Mexican immigrants, proud Latino in general, the only Latino on the City Council, this is something that is deeply important to our community and myself. And as someone whose family has been deported and continues to see this deportation system that is discriminating our community, we will always do everything we can to stand up against it. I have a short thing to talk about. One thing that we're doing on the City Council is through the work with COPAL and the organizers right here is we are going to push through a policy resolution through the City Council to make sure that we urge President Biden and urge the Department of Homeland Security to grant these TPS important things for our Ecuadorian community, right? So that's going to be on May 14th. In the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and then it's going to get forwarded to full council for a final vote. It has to go through a committee stop. That's how City Council works. So the other thing that I want to tell you all is we're going to be amending our civil rights ordinance, making sure that we include immigrants as a protected class in the city of Minneapolis. That's currently not the case in our civil rights ordinance. That's a change that we're going to make. And it's important not only to our Ecuadorian community, not only to our Colombian community, but our Latino community and immigrant community in general, who isn't just part of the Latino community, right? So very excited about that work going forward and want to make sure that we are here to stand in solidarity with our community members and making sure we're doing the right thing. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone that came here today. And as somebody said, happy May Day. With that, we close, but we do want to, I want to bring up Ryan Perez to answer any questions from our media that is present here today.
Hi, everyone. Ryan Perez, Organizing Director, COPAL, Minnesota. I will say we have just some lovely people here that are probably really qualified to answer some of the questions, especially the folks representing offices from Minneapolis and St. Paul. But are there any questions?
Just curious if there have been any meetings with state legislators at all, and if so, who those legislators are.
There have been meetings with some of the state elected officials about can we look into a resolution for the state in future years. Including Representative Feist, including Senator Omar Fate. But more importantly, we're having these conversations with our federal elected officials as well. Congresswoman Omar was here in the center about a month ago to have a conversation with the Ecuadorian community that are COPAL members to talk about what are their stories, what are the difficulties they're facing, and what are the potential solutions at the national level. We also have, who couldn't be here today, the director of the Workers Center, Claudia Lainez. Claudia is in DC right now advocating for TPS with our federal officials.
I thought Humano is the only person on that bill in Minnesota. Have you heard much from other federal lawmakers in Minnesota?
Well, I know Senators Tina Smith and Senator Amy Klobuchar are folks that Claudia is talking with right now in DC and has been doing a couple of visits with, but I don't know if anyone else has information on that.
The proposal is backed up by, I believe, about 27 congressmen, including Cortez and several other, mostly from the eastern side.
So while we continue to have conversations with our Minnesota delegation, COPAL is engaging with national networks on this issue, including groups like Alianza Americas, the TPS movement, and we're having conversations with officials across the country.
We had a few people here share some of their personal stories, but could you touch on what is temporary protected status? Why is it so important?
Yes. Is there anyone that has the joy of answering that?
So TPS is, think of it as immediate action until we find a better solution for migrants in the country who are undocumented. It allows them the possibility to obtain a work permit so that they can sustain themselves and their loved ones and don't have to depend on any government funds or any other funds, as some people mark as that immigrants come here to take advantage of that, which is not the truth.
A couple of words from our executive director as well.
Sure. Francisco Segovia, Executive Director with COPAL. Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, is a designation that is given to countries that are facing hardship. It can be a civil war, social unrest, earthquakes. So through that, several countries have received that status. For instance, we have about 300,000 Salvadorians with TPS, about 50,000 Hondurans with TPS, people from Haiti as well, and other African countries. So that has been a designation for many years to protect people who, for those reasons, have migrated to the United States. So in this particular case, the Ecuadorian community is one of those communities that, for the reasons before explained, are here. And then this may be an opportunity for President Biden to designate that. So, thanks.
We know that the state has seen a surge in Ecuadorian immigrants. Could we talk about that a little bit? Is that just within the last couple of years? Maybe help paint a picture of what it looks like right now.
Yes. Does anyone have some of the statistics with them either? Oh.
Unofficially, but according to the Ecuadorian consulate, there's thousands of Ecuadorians that are reporting to the consulate on a monthly basis, something that has not been seen before in Minnesota. We have seen in the news happening in the East Coast, the West Coast, and now it's coming inward. There's no official numbers now, but there's rumors of about 20, 30,000 Ecuadorians in the Twin Cities.
Some things we do know is that Minnesota, in general, is the 10th highest population of Ecuadorians in the United States. We also know that the number of asylum cases in Minnesota's immigration courts coming from Ecuador has surged over 900% in the last 5 years. So we have a large population here that is ready. This is International Workers' Day. This is May Day. It's also about folks who are ready to work and ready to contribute to the economy of the state of Minnesota.
Probably what I'm mentioning, we have several people here. We probably it's key to mention that we have several counselors here, Stephanie and Vivi and others. And I understand that in the first quarter of this year, they have seen about 1,000 people, just the first quarter. And I would imagine that a good percentage of the people who keep coming to the center are Ecuadorians. And so as we see people coming, obviously schools, jobs, food, shelter, those are some of the things that normally anyone will ask for. And then the challenge that people encounter is, I want work, but I don't have a work permit. And so those are some of the things that forces people to go to corners to look for jobs. As some of you have seen people on Lake Street and First Avenue looking for jobs, which also makes people very vulnerable. And those are some of the things that we want to prevent, because then people can get into situations of wage theft. And so for that reason, it's so important that our communities get documented and they can access jobs like any other person and also be protected. So thank you.
Any other questions?
I was wondering, how many people are in the collective of Ecuadorians?
Yeah. How many folks are active in the TPS collective of COPAL?
It's kind of random. There's 4 people officially taking leadership, but we gather here every Saturday and we have groups of about 10 to 20 people just to kind of share ideas and find better ways to get the TPS to be approved.
So,
When did that start?
So this began about 3 months ago. So as you know, we are May 1st Worker Center. And so when people came to us, someone from Ecuador approached the center director, Claudia Lainez, and said, can you help us to figure out how we can organize to keep fighting for TPS? So that was the beginning of the process. And then we reach out to other organizations across the nation that are already doing this work, and that's how we began. And so every Saturday, we have in the network about 40 to 50 people who have come, and many oftentimes cannot make it because when someone hire them to work, they need to do that. And so through this process, you hear so many stories. How hard it was to cross, for instance, the border, Colombia, Panama, that there is no road. The challenges that they face, but the challenges that they face here in Minnesota, for instance, and I have seen people saying, I don't know why I made this trip. Maybe I'm ready to go back again. So it is this mix of feelings. We have parents. So right now, as Ryan mentioned, Claudia is the director of the center is in Washington, but also with her is Evelyn, who is a mother of a 4-year-old child who also are Ecuadorians and are doing advocacy in Washington D.C. right now. And so there are so many stories that you probably have seen in the newspaper. When you come to the center, those stories become real because it's the real people who are here with hopes to be able to work and support themselves.
Any other questions?
Would it be possible to get our speakers to come to the mic and just spell their name for us?
Yes. Anyone who spoke today, can we have you share your name? A todos que hablaron hoy como parte del programa, por favor compartan su nombre, apellido y cómo se escribe.
Julio Alvarado.
So that's
Julio and Alvarado, Alvarado.
Elvis Rivera, Elvis Rivera.
Brad Siegel, Bradsigal.
Abdihamid Badri, Abdihhamid, last name Badri.
Xiomara Marin, Xiomara, last name Arin.
Xiomara. Do you want the spelling? Xiomara.
Gabriela Gutiérrez.
Gabriela Gutierrez, Gabriela. Gutierrez, Gutierrez.
Jason, Jason, Chavez, Chavez.
That's a quick Google.
Sí, por favor. Soy Héctor Rivera, es Hector Rivera.
Rivera. Sí. ¿Alguien más?
Francisco Segovia, first name Francisco, last name Segovia, Segovia.
Carolina Ortiz, Carolina Ortiz.
That's everyone, right? Okay, gracias. Thank you, everyone. I think we have some sandwiches and light refreshments that we're bringing in. Oh, see. Wait, let's get a quick photo of the group. Sorry.